There's one thing I finally understood yesterday, and that was how to stop being a victim. And I'll let you know how I came to this realization. So, I recently learned how to deal with apathy, right? Apathy came up, and it was while I was doing my homework for my school. And usually, right, I'm able to breeze through homework very easily. Maths homework, I do maths. I'm usually able to breeze through it. And well, after overcoming the negative feelings that came up during struggling with the homework, because this time, right, I had two assignments due. I had two assignments due on the same day, same time. And the subject that I knew was going to be harder, I started it first. I started this like 3 or 4 days earlier, before the deadline, right? And it took me literally like 3 days, and I was still on one question for the hardest piece of homework. I was still on the first question, and it messed me up entirely, but like threw me off balance. The first 2 days I could like kind of push it to the side, but then it was the first day. The second day was when I started to lose it, bro. Started to lose it because I've been able to internally shift to a loving kind of vibration, so that, I mean, well, he wants to sit and hate all day. So all these feelings that would come up when I attempted the homework would disrupt me internally, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. All I knew was that I was feeling somehow and that I was suppressing it, which isn't what I've been practicing from the book I've read, from the book I've been reading. Let me see. That's not what I'm practicing. Well, not even from the book I've read, because at this point, this is my own mechanism. This is my own mechanism for life, for living. And that's one thing as well that I just want to quickly touch on, that whatever you learn, whatever techniques you learn, I think it would be more beneficial to just do what you think to be right, because what you think is right will be the right way. There's no, this person is saying the right thing, that person is saying the wrong thing. It's whatever you choose to make right. I mean, you're right in thinking, in fact, even if you think something like that, you're still right. Your subconscious will only, what your subconscious accepts as true will be reality for you. Like, there's no point in trying to enter someone else's world, right? You have to kind of just, like with the techniques, just make them your own, or believe that this technique works exactly how this person said it, and then adopt it as your own. And don't ever think, oh, I'm doing it right. Oh, am I doing it right? Like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. So I think I said, am I doing it right? You don't think, am I doing it wrong, or is this the right way? Like, don't second guess yourself, or else it just won't work. You have to have full conviction that what you're doing is working for you. And the mechanism that I had been cultivating for myself, it was difficult to use, because I didn't fully understand the emotion of apathy. I even had to, at some point I did identify that, oh, I'm feeling apathy right now, because of all the lack of concern I had for submitting this assignment at this point. And I even came off this one and then got to the easy homework, was able to submit that in 2 hours, bro. 2 hours done. This hard one, still the third. Like this got to like the deadline day, and honestly, I just at that point, right, I knew that was lack of concern. I knew that there was like a it is what it is type mentality. Even I called my mom. I called my mom and she told me to like, call some, because I know people that could help me with this homework. I've got family members, I've got people I've met in school that I could call and they would help me in a heartbeat, but I just didn't want to. I just didn't, At some point, right, I said, okay, this was the deadline day. I said, okay, I'm going to put this off until the last 2 hours I have to submit it. So the last 2 hours I did all I could in the homework, did all I could. And it wasn't even that it was hard. It was just that, well, I'll get into why shortly. But because really and truly, I just have a very perfectionist. Yes, I'm a perfectionist essentially. So it has to be right, or we're gonna be on that question for however long it takes to make it right. You know what I'm saying? So the last 2 hours, right? So I did it for an hour and 30 minutes, and then I just submitted it. However it turned out, it doesn't matter. Just submit it. And I moved up the scale of happy. Like I was happy. I was free as the lotus lights on. I wasn't worried about this that. I mean, I think those feelings were there somewhere. I can't lie to you. Those feelings were there, and I'll get into more detail. But those feelings were there, and I just went about my day. I just went to the gym, whatever, showered, listened to an album release of a favorite artist of mine, and then carried on about my day. But I was still feeling like the lingering effects of feeling that strong emotion. So then at some point, right, this is now, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and I decided to read my book, and I went to a chapter, right, that had dealt with apathy, right, and then I understood. Then I finally understood what. Sorry. Then I finally understood what it was that was happening, right? I had been thinking to myself. I've been thinking of myself in a negative context, which wouldn't help me when I wanted to, show love to the world. You can only show love if you love yourself first. If you love yourself first, you can only show. And when you hold yourself in a negative context, like I was doing, I thought, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And it put myself, I put myself in the perspective of being a victim. That doesn't, that just programs you. The more you feel apathy and then you think you can't do this, you can't do that, you're just reprogramming yourself to think you're a victim, which is also a negative. It's negative. At the end of the day, it's negative. And it's like you're just being beat around by life. Like you're just going, life is just throwing rocks at you and shit. Like you're just taking it. You have to realize that it's not an I can't. And more often than not, it is. It's not I can't. It is that I won't. You need to rise above apathy, or let me say, acknowledge the feelings that are being masked by apathy. When I understood this, right, because I had different fears, right? Fears of putting in too much effort, fear of looking stupid, fear of putting in effort and then it not amounting to anything, fear of failing, fear of trying then failing, like, especially the fear of effort. I think it was mainly the fear of the effort. And those were my true feelings, and I could choose whether in that moment, whether or not I wanted to let go of these feelings and push through to do this homework, or not let go and don't do it. Don't let go and just don't do it. Bro, put yourself in a position where you have the choice. Be a conscious chooser, not a helpless victim. Be a conscious chooser and not a helpless victim. Don't accept when you feel a lack of concern, a lack of, oh, I can't do this, there's nothing I can do. Bro, if you just let life, if you just take life like that without any, you're not even validating your feeling. You have to validate yourself, bro. Love yourself. Literally, I promise you, right? After I realized this, I just felt free. I felt light. I said, I made the choice. I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it. Well, I did end up like doing as much as I could, but I literally like, I chose not. I just, my perspective shifted, right? My perspective shifted, and then love came up. After I noticed that love just came up suddenly. Love surfaced. I felt happy. I felt love. I felt love for myself, and I was about to start meditating as well. So then once I started meditating, right, and I had a crazy experience, I'll probably make a separate video on this meditative experience. But bro, when I start meditating, right, long story short, because the video is getting too long. Long story short, while I was meditating, I inhibited all thoughts and all feelings, right? Or I mitigated as much as possible, because you can only do it a moment at a time. And at some point, I filled the room, it felt like I filled the entire room, right? I was able to feel all the corners of this room, and then suddenly I just felt I love myself, like, literally. I just felt love for myself and acceptance and forgiveness. Just different high emotions of love came up, and I even started to cry. And it was very unusual. I don't want to keep it in, because I know that when you cry, that's like you're releasing trauma. So I feel as though I've lifted the burden on my subconscious, even if it was just by a little bit. Because it was only like one tear. Like, I don't, come on. It was just one tear. It was just one tear, and then like it was a bit teary here. Like, it wasn't, I didn't like cry like properly. But I still cried. And it was just such a liberating experience. It was such a divine experience, honestly. And I want you guys to feel that as well. I want you guys to rise above that victim mentality, that victim programming that we've been programmed to be thinking like since we were young. In another video, I'll probably get into the inner works of the subconscious programming and trauma and ego and all of that. But for now, just remember to be a conscious chooser, not a helpless victim. Get my Balkan guide in the description and join the Discord community in the description too. And if you want to have any one-on-one calls, talks about any problems you're having dealing with your emotions, or just any advice in general, right? Because I've been giving a lot of advice lately to some people, to friends, family, and it's been very helpful for them. Actually, it's been very helpful. I think I've gotten to that point where I can just see through a lot of, I don't want to say low level in terms of, oh, like this person's like low level, but like just low level kind of problems, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've become bigger than certain problems that would drive people insane. Anyway, enough awful. Get my Vulcan guide in the description. Join our community as well in the description. And for one-on-one calls or just if you have any questions, just send them through on my Instagram. I'm always active on there. Or just comment your question in the YouTube comments. Stay blessed.